My name is Vince Wolfram,
And I am Dylan Cardwell. Welcome back to another episode of Big Talk.
where we take small talk to the next level across the worlds of sports, lifestyle, and everything else under the sun. Welcome back. We got the SEC champ with us, big SEC champ. Dylan, welcome from Spokane, Washington.
Yep,
How we feeling?
I'm pretty good. I feel like a champion, but we're not done yet.
I want to start with SEC tournament because obviously, one, from the TV to the court, it looked like you guys were having a ball.
Yeah,
Nashville, obviously, SEC tournament, fan frenzy there. Talk about Nashville and going there for the SEC tournament and how it was as a crowd for you guys.
Nashville is just an amazing city. It's an amazing location, especially for our fans, because it's just right there, right up the street. And so it was just a very fun location, very central to the SEC, I guess, for a lot of fans. But getting there, there were more Kentucky fans than I thought there was going to be.
Big Blue Travels, man.
Yeah, at our first game, there were probably more Kentucky and Tennessee fans at our game against South Carolina than there were Auburn and South Carolina fans. And so it just proves that, Kentucky and Tennessee, they're just basketball psychos. They just love basketball. They love to watch basketball. They bought up all the tickets. But going back to Nashville, I think the coolest thing that no one really knows about of the city part is that outside of Bridgestone Arena, they have a park, kind of like how Milwaukee has the Deer Park, where fans can kind of just go interact with like certain amusements. I got a big old pink cowboy hat from there. You could play like these amusement park games. It was pretty cool though. But there's a lot of fan amenities going around, and it just made the fans feel more involved outside of just watching a basketball game. It was more of an event, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and Auburn, like you said, it feels like home, but you guys made it feel especially like home. And it looks like you brought the home to Nashville. A lot of people I heard talking and chirping and saying that the jungle wasn't in Nashville. And sure enough, you guys made it seem like that. By the end of the weekend, I know you said Kentucky and Tennessee, it felt like the first day I had the place packed out, but talk about the Auburn crowd, man. They showed up.
They showed up and showed out. That third game really it was probably louder than any Neville Arena game I've ever been in, and it was just crazy to be a part of. And the best part about being in there when it was loud is that I was actually playing on the court at the time, so I'm just like, wow, it's loud. It's a lot of crap in here. The jungle's roaring, and like I said, it was louder than a home game for us. And I just want to say like a big thank you to the fans, because like that wouldn't have been possible. It wouldn't have been possible to make history without them. I'm pretty sure that those fans intimidated Florida, and it was just a great thing to see.
Yeah, and then to basketball now, the SEC championship itself, what a game.
Yeah,
Auburn versus Florida for the SEC championship. It was probably a little different than most people expected tournament wise, because you had early losses from Bama, Kentucky, and Tennessee, which led you guys to two great wins and then to the championship game against Florida. Tell me about the game from your perspective, just in general, playing against Florida and just the height, the magnitude of playing in a game like the SEC championship, what it felt to you as a player.
yeah. The biggest thing was we want to take advantage of the opportunity. Not too many people obviously have the opportunity to go out there and win an SEC championship. Um, you know, Alabama was a great team. Just we saw them get manhandled by Florida like really, really bad. And we saw that and we were like, we have an opportunity to make history. Like, why not put it all out on the line and take advantage of the opportunity? Because like I said, we don't have to play these top ranked teams. Obviously, Florida's a great team. Don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong there. But like, we want to play teams that have fans that travel. Like if we were playing Alabama in the championship, that would have been probably the highest stakes game in Auburn basketball history. You know what I'm
Blowing
saying?
the roof off that place.
Exactly. So we just knew we had to take advantage of the game, not just in itself, but like just the opportunity we had, and that was our focus the whole time. Like, we don't want to lose again, so let's not lose again, and that's pretty much what we did.
Did it feel like full effect March Madness to you?
I don't think so. Um, it was more like because we didn't. What I was looking for was like that 2019, Bryce Harper come down after layup and just swing the Bryce Brown three ball. I was looking for one of those runs, but I guess we had something similar where Trey came down, hit a three, and then Trey got the steal, and then Denver dunked it, and they called a
Denver
timeout.
dunk,
So
yep.
that was probably a little 2019 run, but I thought we were gonna have we had a lot of open threes that we could have made that make that that transition three run that 2019 team made. So, but I didn't really feel like a March Madnessy kind of game, just because it was so far hard distance. But I think Mississippi State, that game was more like March. It was more nitty gritty. It was a slugfest, and it was a close game. It was our first close game of the season that we won. So
Yeah, and that game, there was almost like an extra added level of fire between both those teams. And you guys had played very hard schedules coming into that game. But I want to talk about winning the SEC championship, because there's a certain feeling you get when the confetti's falling. How was that moment, being on the court, celebrating with your team, with your coaching staff, as seeing the confetti come down as a 2024 SEC champ?
Yeah, it just made our hard work and all of our ups and downs of the year really just make it all worth it. It made it more sweet. Like all the conditioning that we did, all the fighting and bickering that we did, all the hard work, this and stuff that we did. It's just like it made it all make sense. And even if we did win a championship, it would have made sense. But this one was more like a cherry on top. It's kind of like, all right, like we got this one out the way. Now we can kind of like take like a break for like a day and then move on to March Madness. Rather than having to deal with March Madness as soon as you lose the SC tournament game, like we were able to get some momentum going into March, feel good about ourselves, and then focus on the other team. So I enjoyed it.
And the celebration that came after looked like you guys had a ball. Was there anything crazy, sporadic that happened that you can remember, funny memories that you can share with us from the aftermath?
Really just everybody wanted to do snow angels and stuff like that. I was trying to do a snow angel, and one photographer would not get out of my way. So I kept kicking him in the leg. And like, he couldn't get the memo. Like, a lot of the photographers kind of ruined that moment for players because they were trying to get in everybody's face. Rather than allowing it to be some kind of, natural feeling. But I think the best thing that I did, probably the smart thing I ever did, was when I was cutting the nets, I led the War Eagle chant while I was cutting my nets. So obviously you got to play the crowd and make the crowd feel involved, and that was pretty fun. And then another favorite memory I had of myself was really like, I think I carried the trophy for like 2 hours. Like I was not letting go of that thing because I was like, man, like the team won this obviously, but I was like, man, like if anybody's gonna hold it, it's gonna be me. I got to, because like I knew if I held it, I'd get most of the pictures. So I'm like, all right. So I was holding that thing around, carrying it, and we had a lot of fun. The cheerleaders had fun. Aubie had fun. It was great to see like the Auburn fans just be there with us and support. And it was a fun feeling. And I can imagine what Final Four is going to be like.
Yeah, and especially that Auburn family, they followed you all the way from Nashville back to Auburn, and you met at Toomer's Corner. Tell me about the energy downtown Auburn on Sunday night.
It was like we were superstars. It was like we were rock stars. As soon as we got off that bus, people were screaming and yelling, and it was just insane. Like it was packed like a football game, and it was just very. I'm very blessed to have seen that because like not too many people get to experience that. You know what I'm saying? And rolling Toomer's with my team, it's probably the most surreal part. But like it just felt like we were like a boy band, like we were in sync or something, and it was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. So that the plane ride, that's probably my favorite. All we did was talk. Like we rarely talked on the plane ride. We were talking about the game the whole time. Our coaches were watching the film back and they were just celebrating and stuff. They were like clapping their hands and stuff. It was crazy.
You guys are basically the modern day One Direction. Not to put words in your mouth, but basically, I mean, you guys rocked. I saw 7 Instagram lives go on right as you guys hopped off the bus. So I knew it would be a good time. But fast forward now, end of SEC tournament, you guys are going to March. And there's no other way to describe March Madness than to be in it and to play. But I can try my best. So I wrote up a little fun to kick off our March Madness, a little ditty almost. I know you got your TI hat on backwards today, so maybe I hop in the hip hop space a little bit today. Maybe that's my thing. So welcome, Hoops fanatics, to our podcast Delight, where March Madness takes flight, reaching dizzying heights. The NCAA's grandest tournament, a spectacle to behold, from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories, just stone cold. Join us courtside as we dissect each play, intrigues, upsets, and brackets in disarray. March Madness, where dreams are both made and shattered. Every dribble, every shot deeply mattered. So tune in, dear listeners, to the Big Talk Sway as we navigate this thrilling hoops ballet. I'm ready to dance. I don't know about you, but there's games that just started, and I am ready. I think I tweeted about this earlier. I think this day and today, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday are my 4 favorite days on the entire college basketball hoop schedule, the entire year. Like, I don't think it gets much better than games every hour, multiple games every hour of every day for 4 days.
It's sick. It's amazing to be a part of, but there's nothing better than kind of like being a fan, being able to just flip your TV and see all these close, crazy games. And like, there's like a huge ticker going across of every score, every game. It's like, dang, like I don't understand to watch. So like day like this, I love to have like 50 flat screen TVs and just have 80 games going on at once. But I love March Madness, and like you said, like the first 4 days, there's nothing that beats it. That excitement, that pure excitement and love and joy of just the game.
I don't know. My roommates and I, we all took our TVs from our individual rooms out into the main room because we had a goal today, and it was to try to watch every single game that was on TV. And if it's not on TV, it's on these. Because I know the March Madness app, you can get the scores and live updates and your
Yep.
notifications now. They're up in the game. The smoke has been upped.
Yep.
But golly, it's fun. And there's a ton of good games today, and even better games tomorrow.
Yep.
You, like I said in the beginning, you guys are in Spokane right now. That was the draw that you guys got. Tell me about how you feel. You got out there, different time change. It's a different environment, but you guys are ready and prepared.
Yeah, I actually enjoy the time change because I feel like I'm sleeping in. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, I love to
True.
travel. I love to travel, and as much as I would love to play close to home, at the end of the day, like I'm never going to be in Spokane, Washington again. It's like, why not go enjoy it? So I've been more of a tourist the past 2 days. Thankfully, we don't play until tomorrow. But it's just been great coming out here and experience how different life is on the West Coast than it is on the East and stuff like that. And we have a lot of fans traveling. Obviously, our band traveled, and we got all the people we need. So it's going to be a fun environment, and I'm excited to see how the locals kind of adapt to this because they don't have any teams. They don't have a dog in the fight.
Right.
So I'm very interested to see how the locals show up to this game.
Yeah, because there's no pro team. There's no pro team in any sport in Spokane. But this is just a spot for basketball. And one thing I noticed too, just almost like strategy wise from the NCAA, Auburn, Alabama, UAB, they're all in Spokane, Washington. I think the entire state probably of Alabama got on that one flight, that one Alaska flight from Alabama all the way to Spokane. So I can't even imagine the conversations that were out on
I
that
can't
plane
do it.
ride.
I can't either. What's even more awkward is that we landed and we're traveling to the hotel. We're unpacking and going to the hotel and checking in. On the opposite side of the hotel checking in was Alabama.
Oh no.
So they put Alabama and us in the same hotel. Like NCAA is very spicy. Let's just
Do
say
they
that.
realize that we have Katie Johnson and Chad Baker Mazar on our team that risk technicals every second of the game that they're on the floor?
I don't think they know that. So
Not yet. Not yet. Just wait for that first round.
yeah.
But that leads me right into the mailbox question, which talks
Yep.
about this magic sheet of paper that we
Yep.
received today. Should be filled out, but I got an empty copy just for this episode. Look at that. Big Talk bracket. The mailbox question for today was give me 3 teams in the entire bracket, 3 of the 64 that you are most excited to watch in this year's Big Dance. I'll let you start.
I think my 2 first teams I think of are Mississippi State because of how they defend. Josh Hubbard's an
He's tough.
amazing young guard. Tolu Smith, like I said, one of the best bigs in the country outside Janai Broom. And it's just like he's an SEC big, so I'm pretty biased towards him. And I would just be like interested to see like we got to know how to beat them because we played them 3 times. I'd be very interested to see how a team that can't scout them out of playing them, but scout them by watching them. I'd be very interested to see how they approach a Mississippi State team that you can't scout that physicality, first of all. I'd be very interested to see how they try to adapt against a Mississippi State team is that good, that sound defensively and that physical. And so I'm very interested to see how that happens and to see if they can make a run. Obviously, everybody and their mother loves Drake. So I was going bandwagon Drake. I've seen some brackets of people with Drake in the Elite Eight and other people with Drake, first round exit. I don't know. And I don't have a third team yet, but I'll listen to your 3 teams and see if I can bandwagon one of yours.
Okay, I like it. My first team, I'm going to go with New Mexico, the Lobos. They impressed me into the conference tournament. They got a guard, Jalen House, who I know is a really, really tough high school player, played at Arizona State for a couple of years and has been playing under Richard Pitino at New Mexico for a little bit, but he's tough. 16 points a game. Had a great conference tournament. So they're playing hot right now. Jamal Mashburn Jr., the son of the former Kentucky player, Jamal Mashburn, who always excited in the month of March. But they've got a tough team. One that I think is a little bit of a sleeper. They could come in and definitely do some damage. Another team that I'm excited to look at is Duke, just with all of the buzz that's been going around about Kyle Filipowski and the trip, in addition to their ACC tournament, which didn't go quite as most people expected it to. I think people expected that ACC tournament to fall into the hands of Clemson, Duke, or North Carolina, but instead big DJ Burns at NC State encapsulated the conference and took all those big juggernauts down. So I think Duke's a team that stands out to me. I wonder what they will do. Jared McCain's a very solid guard mixed with good guard play, and also big consistent forwards and centers. I think they're a team to watch. They're a team I think that could also be a first round exit, maybe, against a Vermont team that's good, or they could take it all the way to Phoenix. And then my last team, I'm going to go with the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. It's a sleeper. I know they're the 15, but they're playing Marquette, who is without their star player. So I think Western Kentucky is similar play style to a Kentucky or an Alabama. I think they're actually number one in pace in the entire United States, and they're also top 15 in 3-point shooting. So, I mean, that's a dangerous recipe if I'm trying to plan against them. A fast team that can shoot the ball at a very, very high clip and can rain threes on your head whenever you really give up for a second. That's a dangerous team, in my opinion, and one that I would think could have a chance to upset number 2 Marquette.
And speaking of upsets, my third team, my pick would probably be Sanford Bulldogs.
That's who I got, Sanford Bulldogs.
I'm cooking. I love me some Alabama boys, but really just I think the Kansas is without their star player as well, and it'd be very interesting to see Hunter Dickinson come back, or if he's not coming back, I'm not sure. But Bucky basketball. We have a couple of Bucky McMillan guys on our team, and Leor Berman and Cardwell, and they're very confident that Sanford can make a run. Obviously, they have a really good defense, but their pace of play is up there with the Hilltoppers. So it'd be very interesting to see. And speaking of ACC tournament, DJ Burns and DJ Horn, just seeing that run they made. I think I watched 3 out of their 5 games, and I was a fan of every moment. And I played for the same AAU team as DJ Burns did growing up, so I know him personally. And I sent him a little message. But it was just very exciting to see them go on that run, especially because they were not supposed to win against Virginia. It really came down to a missed free throw by Reese Beckman, who was an 88% free throw shooter or something like that. He's high 80%. Missed the front of a 1-and-1. They come down, no timeouts. Their shooter just throws the ball on the left wing at the rim, and it hits the backboard. And then not only does it go in, it toilet bowls. So it really could have ran out and went in. They go into overtime, and they just beat the dog crap out of them in overtime. But they weren't supposed to win how they won. But that's what March is supposed to be. March is supposed to be crazy. March is supposed to be unpredictable. And NC State's very hot right now. I don't see anybody in the nation staying in front of that lineman of a man in DJ. So
college Hakeem Olajuwon right there. He is the biggest of dogs. And even like you said, the unexpectancy of March. This NC State team was 9-11 in the ACC. They were emphasis on they were not supposed to win this ACC tournament, and they went and torched the competition.
And they beat the 1, the 2, and the 3 team. They beat 2 of the rivals, Duke and UNC, and they beat Virginia's 3 seed tournament. Yeah. It is crazy. It's insane. So
my hope is that they had enough off days. That's really my hope, because I want them to stay hot. Get rest, recover, and come back and give them the best shot you can. The second mailbox question we got was talking about the regions in the Big Dance. Which region do you think is, from a fan perspective, is the most complicated to pick the winner of?
Probably the East, and that's not a bias. Just you have 3 of the last 4 Final Four teams in San Diego State, FAU, and UConn. That's very tough. You have a really good a lot of first round games. You have Iowa State in there, who, in my personal opinion, is not the worst 2 seed. They're probably the best 2 seed.
I agree.
it's a very nitty gritty region, and I think your champion comes out of this region.
I'm going to go right to the other side of the bracket. I'm going to go with the West region. When I first saw it on Selection Sunday, they put it out and I went, oh, that's a mixed bag of teams. It was almost like every team that they didn't know what to do with, they crumbled up and threw them in the West. So teams like North Carolina, who is tough, but like I said earlier, like they could lose to an NC State or a team of that level. Yet their guard play with RJ Davis, big man Armando Bacot, like they have the star power to do some damage. Also, an 8-9 matchup like Michigan State, Mississippi State. Like you said, we were loving Mississippi State. Hubbard is one of my favorite players in college basketball, freshman guard, tough as nails. Mississippi State in general is tough as nails. Going against Tom Izzo, who's been to do the Sweet 16 15 times, trying to make that 16. You can never really count him out. St. Mary's, a team that's beaten Gonzaga, who has also gone on to beat Kentucky and lost to UConn by 1. So St. Mary's is tough. And then Alabama, who will run points up on just about anybody. Clemson, who's a sleeper team with PJ Hall, their big man. He's solid, well put together. And then New Mexico, my sleeper team, is playing them. So having all of those teams, plus like a Dayton who lost early in their conference tournament, but is dominated in their conference schedule and also a little bit in the non-conference. And then a toss-up too, like Arizona, with Caleb Love at the helm, with 3 guys on his outside of him who are the most efficient players on the court when they're together. But even them, they have like a little bit of uncertainty. Like Arizona's only been to the Elite 8 one time since 2014. Like one time in the last 10 years, they've been to the Final Four, or the Elite 8, excuse me. So there's just a lot of uncertainty, which makes, I think, the West region the hardest to choose from.
I agree. That's a very tough region. So
not that the South and the Midwest are any easier, because obviously there's still a mixed bag over there with many, many upsets and Cinderella stories to be happening.
Yeah, I think this is your March Madness with the most parity. Obviously, no one could have predicted last year's March Madness with Arizona losing to Princeton first round, FDU beating Purdue. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just stuff you don't see. No. And I'd be interested to see the stuff that you don't see pop up this weekend.
Yeah. I don't think – how long do you think it'll take before there is no more perfect brackets? Saturday? I give it 48 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fitting. But that's typically how the big dance is. You think you've got it until you don't.
Yep.
Awesome. So that, my friends, is the Big Talk analysis of the most sacred paper in college basketball. Big Talk brackets. That's what we talked today. And we appreciate you guys tuning in. You can find full episodes, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, with clips on Instagram Reels, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube Shorts. From Auburn to Spokane, we got Mr. T.I. over there with the excessive hat flip. I love it.
Yep.
Dylan, go win one for the Gipper.
Yes, sir. War
Eagle, and we will see you guys next time.
Yeah.